Hello, it's me again from Sandy Cogdill Designs, and today I have a card that is for the Craft Roulette Challenge number 270. I watched the past episode and was really excited about two of the parameters, so I just had to jump in. The parameters that were so exciting to me was the A7 card and the arch. So a little bit of backstory. A few weeks ago, I was shopping at Joann's closeout sale, and I came across the Tim Holtz Big Shot Switch Plus machine, and it had been marked down from $300 to $100. Now, I have been wanting one of these machines for a long time, but I just couldn't justify the cost, especially when I have actually two Big Shot machines at home. But I'm not one to walk away from a deal, so of course it went home with me. Now, one of the most exciting things about my purchase is that I was finally able to make an A7 arched card using the Trinity Stamps arched shaped card die. I have used a lot of the arches from that die set, but I've never had a machine big enough to actually cut the arch card. So I was pretty excited about that. Anyway, go ahead and give me a thumbs up if you like this video. You can follow me on Facebook, not Facebook, on Instagram at Sandy Cogdill, or on my blog, www.sandycogdilldesigns.com. Let's get started. Another one of the parameters for this episode was 1980s colors. So I wanted to do kind of a 1980s vibe on my card. So this innermost arch I cut from black cardstock, and I used Trinity Stamps' new Time Warp letterpress plate, and I foiled it with some silver glimmer foil. I'm not going to show that on camera just because I don't really have the ability to move from one machine to the other with my camera set up. Trinity Stamps came out with a fun stamp set this past spring called Your Stellar, and that kind of reminded me of the Lisa Frank My Little Pony stuff back in the, I think it was late 80s, maybe early 90s. So I thought that would work really well with this particular card. So I've stamped the heart part from that stamp set, and I am using Copic markers to color it in. The colors that I'm using are V000, V01, V04. Those are my purples. My pink or kind of hot pinkish color are RV10, RV21, and RV04. My blues are B00, BG15, BG53. My yellows are Y11, Y06, Y18. And my orange, which you can barely see in the center of those little stars, is YR07. I'm kind of a what my family calls a matchy-matchy person. And when I'm working on cards, I like to make sure that all of my colors are pretty well coordinated. So I do this in one of two ways. I have a chart with all of my different Copic marker colors colored out. And then I can always take my pattern paper or my cardstock and kind of put that up to those colors and decide whether or not which one looks best or coordinates best with those colors. On this particular card, I also was using my cardstock that I had decided to use for the front of my card to help me select the different colors of the of my coloring. Now that I have everything colored, I'm going to go ahead and use the coordinating die to cut my little heart out. I will also put a little bit of white highlights using my white gel pen. My actual card base I cut from black cardstock. The other arches that I cut out, I am using the dies that are on the right-hand side of that set and just going down in sizes to cut out each one of my layers. So here I'm using what I would call 80s colors. They're all cut out, and I'm just going to glue them all together and get them layered up, including my little black piece that has the foiling on it. The random parameter for this challenge was interjection. Well, I don't really have any interjection die sets. I'm sure I have some in stamps, but it just wasn't going to work with what I was doing. The only interjection one I have is the word eek, and that wasn't going to work for this card at all. So I decided to use Trinity Stamp's Simply Sentimental Love. And I cut the shadow out of black and yellow. That way I could give that black just a little bit of definition from the background of my foiled piece. And then I just cut out the individual letters in the different colors of cardstock that I used for the arches. And I just put that all together. Now it's time to start putting everything together. I've got my cardstock or my card cut out of black cardstock. I'll give it a fold. Sometimes I find that I kind of have to feel out which way my card wants to fold. Sometimes when I fold it, it gets kind of fuzzy or the paper breaks down on that outside edge. So sometimes when I fold it the opposite way, it's a much smoother fold on the outside, and then you don't see that roughness on the inside, or at least I don't really notice it that much. Anyway, I've got all of my pieces all put together, and I'm just going to glue them all to my card front, and then I will move on to the inside of my card. I like the sentiment from the Your Stellar stamp set, so that's what I'm going to use for the inside of my card. I'm going to use my Misty to get that lined up, especially since that one line is so long and we're talking two different stamp pieces. I'll get that stamped out, and then I will get that adhered to the inside of my card, and that pretty much does it for this particular card. This was a super fast card to make. I was worried that it was going to be difficult to cover such a large area for an A7, but I let the dies and the paper do all the work for me this time. So just to go back to Craft Roulette and the different parameters, so for the project it was A7, for the element it was Arch, for the colors it was 1980s, and the random was Interjection. I'm not sure I hit the interjection one very well, but that's as good as I could do with the supplies that I had. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by today. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to be notified of future videos. You can follow me on Instagram at Sandy Cogdill or on my blog, www.sandycogdilldesigns.com. Thanks so much, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.